All right, so we are recording, and by the way, like I'm gonna be editing a bunch of this stuff. So if like you say something and you think about it later, you're like, man, dude, yeah, I didn't really like that. You let me know and I could cut it out and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Because I'm nervous
Yeah.
about doing live, dude, to be completely honest. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather us do just do this kind of
Oh,
thing pre-recorded, dude.
yeah, like we do like live events at work, and I'm like, everything has to be like on point. We gotta do like a
I
dry run
know,
beforehand.
I
Um,
know. But all right, so three, two, one. All right, my friends. Wow, this is something new. I don't even know what to call this segment, but anyway, there's just two cats talking, and this individual over here, man, Punchy the dog. That's all I gotta say. Punchy the dog. Jeez Louise. My man is the designer extraordinaire. You can find his stuff on IG, and I'll give you a moment later to like plug all of your platforms and stuff like that. But he's insane. He's insane. You just think about it. He is like the Primus or Unicron of the 3D design in space. Because you think about it, my man can make it. And so, yeah, Punchy the dog. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you having me for this interview.
Oh, dude, the honor is totally all mine. Oh, and before I forget, to kind of like spice up the interview, because I know y'all always call me on saying dude a lot. So in the event that I say dude and I catch myself doing it, I'm gonna take a spoonful of this hot sauce over here, and so we'll still keep it spicy and have fun. But yeah, that's the one thing that will be going on over here. And so Punch, we talked about some what is it? Some questions. We had some questions that I shared with you, and you had your answers, and so we could all be prepped for them. See how nervous I am right now talking to you. So I was like, oh god, I'm talking to Punchy, dude. Ugh. And so but this should be fun. I was gonna throw you a curveball initially to just kind of like mess it up to be like, hey, which ethnicity has given you the most No, I'm kidding, dude. This is all love here. It's all love here, but I'm just messing. I'm just messing. So we'll start it with some like easy ones. And so okay, like and if I look over here, I'm looking at the questions and stuff. So do you have a favorite color? And is there a story to it?
Okay. So red is actually my favorite color.
Mm.
And the reason why, it's kind of a stupid reason, but like a lot of the main characters in like cartoons and anime wear red.
Huh.
So like by wearing red, I feel like I'm like the main character in my own story. Like, it's silly reason, but like it
That's
makes me feel
amazing.
like I'm the main character.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Dude, oh, I said dude once, dude. Hold up, hold up.
Yeah.
That is actually I never thought about that. The first person that actually came to mind was Keith from Voltron, because even
Yeah.
though
So
he's
like,
piloting the Black Line,
yeah,
my
so
bad,
like Heath from Voltron, Optimus Prime, Rodimus
Optimus Prime,
Prime, Hulk Hogan, Mickey
Hulk
Mouse,
Hogan.
Lion-O
Whoa,
had like the red hair. You know, Dash from Trigun, Edward Eldridge from Full Metal Alchemist, Seiya from Saint Seiya,
the
Terry
Red Ranger.
Bogard, yeah, Red Ranger, obviously. And
Um, yeah, I never thought about that. That's really interesting. That's really interesting, huh? I have a lot of friends who actually like red as well, and in general, I find that they're very like passionate about the things they do. And so, yeah, maybe that's a hallmark of being red. You're passionate and you're earnest and part of leadership or something.
and don't kill yourself, man.
That will be good. Will be good. Oh. Okay, that's a real good answer. Do you have a favorite food and why?
Um, so I really like sushi.
Oh,
I
sushi.
eat that like every day.
Mm,
You could do it like tons of different ways. People just think, oh, this is raw fish, but really it could be cooked food, it could be, sweet, it could be salty, it could be, you know, fruity, it could be vegetarian,
mm.
all sorts of different ways. I just the flavors and textures just come together. If you get good sushi and it's fresh, then it's always a good meal.
Oh yeah, there's a huge difference between fresh and not fresh. And I was wondering, when you're talking about sushi, are you talking about like sashimi, and like the rolls, or just everything in general?
So I do appreciate good sashimi.
Mm.
But normally when I order out, it's normally 6-piece rolls.
Nice, 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 nice. Any particular one that you like?
Spider Roll is actually my favorite.
My
Yo.
man, I love Spider Roll, dude. Oh, I love
Yeah.
Spider Roll, dude. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
People get
okay.
tempura rolls, and I'm like, check out this Spider Roll.
I know, I know. And it's always a bit of a challenge if because the Spider Roll is kind of a large cut, you know,
Mhm.
and I just want to do it in one bite. And then so I'm trying to get it all in there, and sometimes you got the gangly legs like popping out and stuff. But your spider roll's a good time, dude. Oh my god, maybe this is not a good idea, but whatever, whatever. Okay. Favorite thing to watch while growing up? Yeah.
Okay. So I pretty much enjoyed like most cartoons, like
Mm,
being like a child of the 80s, and like there was like that big cartoon TV era.
mm,
Um
such a good time. Yeah.
I think like more specifically, I was probably more interested in stuff that was like imported anime or stuff
Yes.
that was produced in like a Japanese animation studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like,
Absolutely.
like Transformers, obviously, Mazinger, there's
Imagine.
stuff that's like um Japanese animated studios or
Right.
animated by Japanese studio that you wouldn't think of, like, you know, bits in like G.I. Joe or TMNT,
Right. Right.
Real
Right. Right.
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
You talking about Mazinger when it was Transor Z?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Transor Z. I always had to decide, like, am I gonna watch Transor Z? Am I gonna watch Robotech? You know, that was like the big debate for me because for some reason they were overlapping and competing. But yeah, those are. I used to watch some of the stuff that was like half Japanese and like half like French studio. There was one like called like Ulysses 31 or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one. And like Mysterious Cities of Gold. Like
Yes.
yes, those are the same animate production animation companies, and those are just phenomenal. And like the story was so good, you know. And by the way, I'm being super my bad. I'm being super mindful now because this is so spicy. Oh, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Like yeah, it was 80 was really just a great time to be a cartoon enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was one called Macron 1 where I lived, and I think that was like Go Shogun or something like that. Yeah, and there was stuff that I saw in Korea that they had dubbed like Voltus 5. Um,
Voltus
uh,
5.
Voltus 5, you know
Yeah.
Voltus 5?
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
was really
yeah.
popular in the Philippines.
Oh, in the Philippines, yeah, or like
Yeah.
Dimos.
Yeah.
Dimos was big. But yeah, we can go on and on about that like era, but yeah, same. Those are some of my favorite stuff too. What about now? What are
Okay.
some of your favorite things to watch, dude? Oh,
Okay.
I said it
Mm.
again. I'm crying right now. Oh,
All right.
yeah, but what do you like to watch now?
Um, so right now, I like to watch stuff that is more mature in tone.
Hmm.
Um, so right now I really enjoy like The Boys on Amazon.
Oh, yo, for real though, that's another level of superhero stuff, you know?
Yeah. Like the deconstructed superhero stuff that like it's fun to watch. It's got like, stuff that's a bit edgier. Um,
So, yeah, definitely. Oh, I haven't seen the latest one. I haven't seen the latest season, but yeah, the
yeah,
boys are nuts, you know? Oh, oh. Because like I think like, you know, I'm a human being. I have flaws and stuff, and I'm like, man, if I had superpowers, I don't know if I'd be all like Avengers, Boy Scout, Captain America, you know? Like I don't know. Maybe the dark side would come out and
yeah.
I'd be like one of the soups and oh,
It's really tempting, like sometimes to be like, I could just, have my way and
no
but
one's gonna do anything about it, you know? Oh, you ever watch Chronicle? It's like an
Chronicle.
old movie about like a couple of young kids and
I remember the trailers for it. I haven't watched Chronicle though.
oh yeah,
Have you watched like Brightburn?
that's
Bright.
one of my favorite movies. That's one of my favorite movies. You seen
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Brightburn's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, it's crazy. Or like another one that I'm watching it was Invincible on Amazon.
Oh, the animated one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that's good. I heard that's
It's
good.
really good. It's got like hints of like Spider-Man, hints of Superman, hints of like Dragon Ball Z,
Hmm.
but like in a, more e- real world interpretation of superheroes.
There's some tie-in with the boys, right?
Um, did
Or
they?
maybe not. Maybe I'm imagining that. Oh, this spice got me tripping right now. Oh, oh, okay, okay. Um, what's one of your favorite ways to pass time?
Okay. So
Oh,
I haven't been able to do this recently, but I
okay.
really love going to the gym.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
that is like people don't realize it, but it's like it's just as much mental as it is physical.
You said it,
Like
brother.
you like really have to like just block out, all the extra thoughts in your life and just focus on what you're doing,
Yes,
that you can like accomplish it. Because like, it's really easy to get on the treadmill, but like, what's to stop you from jumping off after like 2 minutes? Or
absolutely.
like,
Mind over matter, you know? Oh,
yeah, yeah, totally.
forgive me. Forgive me. I'm out of sorts right now. Oh. I was like that too. Yeah, I used to be a regular until like COVID hit. And then I stopped and I was like, boy, it's nice not going. And I just got super lazy, dude. I said it again. Oh, okay.
I
Well, I
didn't,
suffer.
but if you heard it, then
I did, and I'm gonna be honest. Okay. Well, I'll take it in a second. I'll take it in a second. Uh, let's move on to some toy stuff. Oh my lord. Oh. So what are some of your favorite types of toys?
so it's primarily going to be robot toys.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
like I am starting to kind of dabble in the like Figmas and
Oh, nice.
like what's the other brand? SH Figure Arts.
SH figure arts, yes, sir.
Yeah, so like I'm starting to dabble in those because like I see people taking pictures and doing like stop animations with those, and like
Yeah,
I do like some comic strips on my IG, and I kind of want to
I've seen them.
weave that in there.
Those are all great. Those are all great. From from the bots universe, like what type of robots you into?
Oh, so
Oh,
Transformers.
yes,
That's
sir.
something like the really I've focused my mind to not buy too many toys outside of Transformers, but Transformers is just like a beast unto itself.
Oh, yes, sir.
Outside of Transformers, Gundam is like one of
Oh,
my
Gundam.
favorites.
Nice.
Um,
How long you been following Gundam?
I've been following Gundam since '95.
95. Whoa,
Yes.
legit, legit. Wow.
Like
What was the first Gundam series you watched?
the first one that I watched was Gundam Wing.
Gundam Wing. Yes, yes, yes,
But
yes.
like a lot of people jumped onto Gundam Wing like after it hit Cartoon Network, but like,
Right.
I'm gonna date myself by saying what I'm gonna say. But when I was in high school, the way we got anime was someone had to come back from Asia with a VHS tape that was bootlegged, and then you had to like let a friend borrow it, and then they would copy that VHS tape. So it was nuts back then. We had to do it that way.
I
Like
know.
it's a very different era now where you can just like stream things. It's so easy to find.
Right, right. And then the longer you copied stuff, you'd get this like loss of fidelity.
Yes.
Oh.
We were watching terrible copies of like Gundam Wing back in '96 before it hit like Cartoon Network.
Now were they subbed?
They were sub, and they were like we were watching like fan subs
Fan
back then.
subs. Yes.
Oh,
That's how I
yeah,
was watching like Macross stuff, like early like Macross 7 and things like that. That was all
yeah.
like fan subs that I watched. And yeah, I wonder if fan subbing is still like around because now you have like Crunchyroll and you have all the, big platforms that do all of that, you know.
I would assume that there might still be some people who still do it, but like to the same extent that they used to do back then.
Yeah, oh, you know what? I will say I have read some manga fan subs of like Berserk, like some of the stuff, or even like One Punch Man, some of the stuff that wasn't readily available yet, and people would fan sub those. And
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it's still around.
Yeah, subbing the manga is probably more
Oh,
common than doing the whole
yeah,
TV series.
my bad. Right on. Um, okay, and you know what? I guess we answered the next one because I was gonna say which line of toys have you been most passionate about, and how long have you been enthusiast? But I'll kind of like switch it up. How long have you been an enthusiast of Transformers?
Okay, so I was an enthusiast like on and off throughout my life. So I was into G1.
Yes.
Um, those were great times.
Mm, excuse me, I just
And
burped right now.
I
Spicy burp.
jumped off when Beast Wars hit. And like I don't hate Beast Wars, but it was just a very different aesthetic that I couldn't get behind.
I
So I
know.
thought, okay, well, I'm gonna stop collecting this. And then like I came back when uh 2001 Robots in Disguise hit.
RID. Yes. Yeah,
And that was like, oh, they're back to cars and it's back to
yeah.
classic animation. So like I'm down with that. I'm gonna jump on this. Um
Did RID have CG? Like some CG aspects of it?
there were some CG aspects. I think they did like the space bridge tunnels, like
Okay.
CG. Um, but it was still mo mostly like a hand-drawn animation.
Mm, mm,
Um, but yeah, like after and I was with Transformers from then to like Armada. And then
mm.
I jumped off with Armada because I didn't like the articulation they were doing at the time.
Like the toys, you mean?
Yeah, because like they had like
Yeah.
all these gimmicks, but like they were all blocks or bricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a few more like joints in this would have made the toy much more satisfying to like pose.
I know. I
You
know.
know.
I never liked the faces that they did in Armada. I don't know. It just wasn't appealing for me. I thought RID was cool, although I never like watched it, but
Mhm.
yeah, something about Armada just didn't hit with me. Yeah, and so yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
watch it at all.
Like I liked the designs from like Energon and Cybertron.
Mm,
Like those were cool.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, at the time I was like, okay, I'm a broke college student and I shouldn't be buying like and then like so then, fast forward, like I was at Target and I saw they were selling protector bots. And I'm like, oh, it's G1 stuff again. Like I gotta get on this. And then
Protectobots? Back at Target? G1 stuff?
not well, it's they were selling Combiner Wars at the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, Combiner
Yeah.
Word. Of course. Of
Yeah, so then I was like,
course.
okay, I gotta get these because I love combiners,
Yes.
and I've been collecting Transformers since Combiner Wars.
Mm, I loved Combiner Wars. I really enjoyed that they leaned into the what is it called? The Scramble City aspect that was
Yes.
big in Japan, but perhaps wasn't as big in the US. And
Yeah, like
Combiner Wars is great. Yeah.
yeah. Combiner, like the Scramble City aspect was the only way that I was able to have a full combiner
I
as a
know.
kid.
I know, right?
Like,
I know.
I got
Seriously.
like two protective bots, and then like one, Hunger was like the torso because he was like, the big bot, and like I had to
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah.
I could, you know, be the arms, and it was just a mess. But I had one complete combiner.
Oh, you said you did or did not?
Oh, I had one mismatch combiner as a
Oh,
kid.
mismatch. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Same. I never had one complete team. My brother had Motormaster, and I
Mhm.
had and my brother's a big car enthusiast, and so he had Motormaster. And for me, I always had Onslaught. So Onslaught was like de facto, hey, you're the torso guy, and whatever we can get through trades or somebody hooked it up, you're
Yeah.
the limb, and never had a full team. Yeah, until Combiner Wars, and
Yes.
that's like when I got to like relive some of my childhood. And all right, well, from the Combiner Wars line, um, and I'll include Unite Warriors in there as well, the Japanese versions. Did you have a favorite team? One that you felt like was done aesthetically well, or just for whatever reason, like is your favorite?
Um, so my personal favorite is the Fensor.
Mm.
That's my favorite. The Protectobots were my favorite team.
Right,
Or
right.
was the favorite combined form. Um, I I did manage to get the C++ upgrade kit for.
C++ one. That's the one that made him like super tall.
Yeah, it was super tall. It had like
Right.
unique limbs. It basically redid the entire upper torso.
That's right. You had to do a bunch of surgery on Hotspot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and it looks great. Like the feet were excellent, the hands were excellent.
Oh, the feet. There was like a calf covering or something that connected from the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And so, like,
huge
it-
blocky feet. I remember.
yeah, it was much more substantial than like, the Perfect Effect or the TDW
Right,
upgrade
right,
kit.
right,
Yeah.
right. I think they did one for Victorion too, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
I did get that kit too, but I never put it on because I was like, oh, this makes her look like a dude now with like the beefed up chest and torso. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. Why did I buy this?
I forgot C++. Yeah,
And I only
yeah.
had like two kits. It was just those two, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of another one, but that was Bruticus. TDW did the Bruticus and Computron, I think, and Aerial Bots too, or something like that. But it was a trip during Combiner Wars was like the teams they always had that six extra one, right? They had was it Rook on the
Yeah, they had
Predictabots? They had Rook and the Aerial Bots had the helicopter. I'm forgetting
Alpha Bravo.
Alpha Bravo.
Yeah,
That's right. I was wondering, I was like, did they do this just to sell an extra figure? Because you knew they were going to come correct with the final member, and they did
yeah. Like
eventually.
I am 100% certain they did that because like they would release not all the same team
Right,
in one wave, so you had to wait till the next wave to complete
right.
the set. And so they're like, oh, you can use these guys as filler for now, and then you can wait till the next wave to really complete the team. Yeah,
Yeah, and the Stunticons had like off-road or something like that. It was
yeah,
like a gray truck,
yeah.
and the Combaticons had had the not blast off the jet.
The jet blast off. Yeah,
Right, right, right. Which I actually didn't hate. I actually thought that was probably
that
more
made more
suited to
sense
be
to me.
among that set versus like a space shuttle.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, dude, Combiner Wars, great taste. I was a huge fan of that line.
yeah.
Um, okay, okay. So here's one that kind of delves back into your like childhood. Do you have any kind of like poignant, like warm childhood memories related to a toy?
I think what probably getting like my first Transformers when I was a kid.
Mm,
Um, so I remember like my grandma got me like Scrapnel and Power Glide at the same time. And
wow.
this was huge because it was like my first Transformers and I got two at the same time. And like, this was, you know, like I never got toys like that when I was a kid. This is like the one rare occurrence where it's like, oh wow, two Transformers. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And like I had nothing that transformed in my toys at the time. So like this
Wow.
was just like, a whole other dimension of play that like just didn't exist like in my toy
Mm.
chests at
Oh
the time.
wow. So, so
Yeah.
so so an actual transformer was your first transforming toy?
Yes.
Oh, that's neat. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I, I'm trying to think about which one was my first like. I mean, I actually owned uh some Transformers from like Diaclone before they were actually like Transformers. Like I had Reflector
Okay.
and yeah, but my first one was Soundwave and like yeah, Soundwave was incredible. Yeah. But
Yeah. Like
yeah,
the
go ahead. Yeah.
there were no toys. Well, no American toys that were doing like those kind of things.
Right, because even
Yeah.
GoBots, those are Japanese.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to think like even Starriers, that's the well, they didn't transform, but I think those are all Japanese products. Like any of those really like cool ones from that time. I mean,
Yeah.
like He-Man was cool, and He-Man's an American thing, but obviously that's not a transformer or anything like that.
Yeah. They didn't have any. They only had that one rock dude that transformed.
Oh.
I think his name was like Boulder or something like that.
Oh wow. Oh
But
wow.
basically,
I
just like
vaguely
curled up into a
recall.
ball.
Yeah, you just curl up, right?
He bent
Wow.
over and like hid.
Yeah, dude. Well, dude, props to props to your grandma, dude, for hooking you up. That's really awesome. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, okay. Conversely, do you have any horror stories or bad memories related to a toy?
Okay, all right. So I do have horror stories about that, and mostly it's about me being stupid and
Oh
not
no.
handling my toys carefully. So the big ones that stand out in my mind are like, oh well, um, one of my toys, I had like a G1 Jazz. I was
Mm.
a little kid. I didn't understand how to transform, and I just snapped him in half, like at the torso, at the waist, like just a big crunch. It's like, oh, it's not supposed to do that. So, and
Oh.
it was like relatively fresh too. I was like, oh, and
Oh.
you couldn't like glue those things back together. Like,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Um,
Oh.
Another horror story, very similar. I was at like the dollar store with my mom, and like
Right.
we got like a KO slag.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
um, it was like a blue KO slag.
Oh,
It was not.
nice.
I'm like, oh, it's a Dinobot. Cool. Can I please get? I begged her like so much, and she got it for me. And then
Right.
like because it was not made out of like die cast metal, it was like really flimsy plastic. I
Okay.
snapped the leg on the first transformation. I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, we tried super glue, but it
Oh,
didn't hold. It was
oh,
never the same.
yeah, same. Yeah, I typically, I don't know, there was something fun about trying to figure it out without looking at instructions. And yeah, I had my fair share of mishaps. But going back to the Dinobot thing, yeah, I was gonna say like around where I was growing up, like in California, there was a bunch of flea markets, and I almost said the word again. Haha, haha. Um, there was a bunch of KO Dinobots everywhere, and the main ones that I remember now were called Ancient Animals, and they were the Diaclone colored ones.
Ooh.
There was the Grimlock with the blue waist, the Slag with the blue chest. But there was another one called Prehistory Animals, and these ones are kind of infamous in that they did some remolding. Like Sludge has wings, and he has kind
Oh,
of like this flappy beak to him. Uh, Snarl has this kind of like alligator-esque face. Slag has feathers instead of the spiked crown, and he has antlers for horns. They're wild. They were nuts, and all of their Dinobots were like this copper color, and yeah, yeah. But I got clowned mercilessly for having a Grimlock with a blue waist at school, and they're like, "That's fake. That's fake." You know, that's like, oh. I mean, it could have been
yeah.
a Diaclone. Who knows? But yeah, I remember. But anyway,
I bet those
anyway.
are probably worth money now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I still see them like every now and then because believe it or not, that flea market that I frequented when I was a child, it's still around actually.
Mhm.
Of course, vastly transformed, and I think, oh, man, it must have been like at least 15 years ago. I saw a Grimlock with a blue torso there, but the guy, and I almost said the D word again, but the guy who was selling it, he absolutely knew what he had. I mean, of course, there's eBay and there's the internet at this point, and he must have looked it up, and it was priced appropriately, and I was like, that's a nice toy, and he's like, yeah, it's a nice toy, and that was it. I didn't buy it or anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and now the question that I'm sure lots of folks have been wanting to know is how did you get into 3D design and printing? Oh, actually, really quick, I wanted to say my first interaction with you and seeing your content on Instagram, believe it or not, was you printed out a Combiner Wars piece for one of the cars because there's that little part that it's like a independent piece. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a tube almost, and that's where you plug in the fist or like the foot, and it just wouldn't allow the car legs to hold together. And you designed a
Oh,
better version of it. And I still remember my comment. I was like, "Not all heroes wear like capes." because I was like, this is incredible. And I'm just gonna admit something, like, of course you get a lot of comments, and you didn't reply to me or anything like that. And I was like, oh man, I was like, I bet you homie's super conceited. I was like, because he's super talented. I was like, I bet you he's super conceited. I was like, but I was like, I get it though. I get it. I would be arrogant too if I could like make all of this stuff. But you replied and you're really cool. And I was like, oh, right on, man. I was like, oh, cool, cool, cool. And but anyway, that's actually how I remember my first interaction with you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Was
Um,
that like for like the Combiner Wars wrists where like it would hold the legs together or
yeah, for
okay.
like it must have been one of the molds for the combat not combaticons, what am I saying? The stunticons.
Hmm.
One of those guys, I think it might be the Burgundy car or something. Like, yeah, there's this like independent pipe that just doesn't sit well. I don't know why they designed it like that. It's meant to hold it together, but it doesn't. And your version like improved upon that, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
No, I remember that one. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
but yes. So how did you get into 3D design and printing?
Okay. So I have a background in building Gundam model kits. And so that was from that I started to customize my model kits
Mm,
in unusual ways that were, not what you would have out of the box. Like I would make my own like accessories,
what? Like
adjust the
how?
proportions. A lot of scratch building. Like you basically just take strips of polystyrene or strips of scrap plastic and glue them together in the shape that you want, and then you can like from there you can sand it, scribe it, add putty, just shape it to however you want. Then once you have it in that shape, you paint it and it looks proper.
Wh- what possessed you to do that? Like, you just one day said, like, you know what, this is not enough. Like, this kit just doesn't do it for me, and you decided to just make what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like it, and it sounds crazy, but like in plastic model kits, like it's very common for Gundam builders to basically say, okay, I have this kit. I want to, make it have a different set of weapons, or I want to make it have different proportions
Hmm.
to customize it to my aesthetic, or however I like it. Because there's this saying in Gundam modeling, Gunpla is freedom. Um, so
Wow.
you can basically just do whatever you want, as long as you enjoy your model kit, it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
from customizing, I used to do all of that by hand, and then I thought to myself,
Wow.
it would be nice if I could do this once and then not have to like do it several different times. Because you make like one shoulder piece, you gotta replicate it for the other side.
Right.
You extend one leg, you have to do it for the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so I had that thought in the back of my mind
Wow.
for years and years. I got into Transformers and I was like browsing like the TFW 2005 boards. I saw this guy, he had created these adapter bits for Combiner Wars Optimus Prime.
Mm.
So he could use Energon Optimus Prime's drones for limbs. And I thought, oh wow, that's amazing. Like
Wow.
I like that idea. But by the time I found that post, that guy had already stopped selling those parts.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this myself. Like if he can do it,
Wow.
then I can do it.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, I saw a 3D printer on sale. I bought it, and then I just started to dive into like, doing my own CAD design and then my own 3D printing at home.
Wow. Um, that's amazing. That's really amazing. And I was gonna say, like, I've been to model shops before, and I would always see those sheets of like styrene in various widths, and
Mhm.
I never quite understood. Like, okay, I was like, so you have this sheet, like, like, what are you supposed to do with this? And
Yeah.
then I saw some like Gundam stuff, and I was like, sorry, I'm tripping over my words right now because I'm so nervous about saying the D word. Um, and I do recall seeing people do like Gundam things, and I was just like, this is amazing. But even looking at it, like my brain just couldn't fathom like how did that come from like these things and these tubes and like just I just couldn't make that jump, that transition. And even now I don't quite understand. And my cousin's huge on that. Like he's a award-winning model builder in Korea. Like he's celebrated on newspaper and like magazines and stuff. But I don't know. I just never understood that. And so like for me, seeing your craft and you being able to produce these things out of the ether is just I don't know. It's amazing. Like when I scroll through your like Shapeways, rest in peace. When I would scroll through your thing, I would just be like, wow, wow. And a lot of times I would think like, like necessity is the mother of invention. And I try to think like, what was the story behind this? Like, why did he want to create this? And like, yeah. And so everything that I've seen is just absolutely amazing. And all the things that you were just so gracious enough to send to me, I'm just looking at them like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I know I haven't even like what is it? I'm still looking at the tip of the iceberg because I can tell that these things have so much more potential than what I'm using them for. And so that's really awesome. Yeah, that that's crazy. Okay, and so oh yeah, so this is the next part that's related to this is when I look at your stuff, like I don't know, to me they're like near machine perfect in terms of like accuracy because a lot of those things are very, very specific in terms of how they have to fit. And I wanted to know, like, I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind is do you have like a 3D scanner or something? Or like how do you go about adjusting and making it seem like it's I don't know, like it was literally just made for it from like a factory?
So I don't have a 3D scanner. Everything I do is um, done from taking a ton of measurements on the transformer. I have digital
Whoa.
calipers that I use, and basically I just pinch the spot with the calipers, and like I look at the reading and I say, okay, this
What is that?
dimension.
What did you say that's called?
They're called digital calipers.
Caliper?
Caliper.
Whoa, I've never even heard of something like that. But yeah, please continue. Yeah.
So like digital calipers are a measuring tool, kind of like a ruler, but instead of
Mm,
like aligning your ruler with something,
mm.
it pinches something and it tells you whatever the remaining width is in the pinch.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
the digital calipers I have are accurate to like 1/10 of a millimeter.
Oh goodness.
Okay,
Wow.
so and like in 3D printing terms, like that's about as accurate as my printer can produce.
Mm.
Um, and when you think about like 1/10 of a millimeter, it's a very small size.
Yeah.
So like as if this is what I'm hitting for my measurement and this is what my machine can produce, I can make a part that is accurate to that specificity.
Wow.
And you know, don't get me wrong, there's still a ton of trial and error that
I was
goes into
I was
making
just
the
about to
part.
ask about that. Yeah, like typically how many parts do you have to like produce before you get to like, okay, this is form perfect?
It really depends on how complex the geometry is of the
Oh.
part. So like for some things, you don't really have to care too much.
Hmm.
For example, if I was designing a gun, the only measurements that really matter are like the barrel and the handle, right?
Okay. Sure, sure,
And
sure.
the reason why is because the handle has to fit in the transformer's hand.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
barrel has to be compatible with, the blast effect.
Mm,
But
mm.
the rest of the body, you don't care.
Got
Like
it, got
the
it.
shape of the gun can be whatever you want.
Mm.
So if I'm doing something like that, I can probably knock that out in like, one or two iterations.
Oh, nice.
There was some parts that I made that were like replacement thighs for Armada tidal wave.
Okay.
And like basically I just got tired of tidal wave's static legs and I added thigh swivel to that figure.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that was like a month of me like testing and trying it out because I it was a much more complex geometry because you had to work with the two existing joints in the leg and then
Mm.
adding a third joint in the middle
Mm.
to allow for the thigh rotation. So, you do that, you get it down, you know, reasonably right, and then, you make sure it can move through the motions, it can move through the transformation,
Hmm.
and then after that add on like your detailing. Um, so that was like a month. And like, you know, keep in mind this is like just my hobby. It's not what I do for my day job.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, it just whenever I had free time, I would just like throw it into like, tweaking this design.
All right, I'm gonna throw you an audible. Have you ever had a design that you couldn't finish? You're just like, you know what, this is not gonna work out. Like, I quit, and like you didn't
Um,
go through with it to completion.
I mean, like it's almost like I would say it's like being like an artist where
Hmm.
you you have a sketchbook that's full of like
Hmm.
a dozen half done drawings. You know,
Hmm.
like it's the same for like my library of like CAD designs.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
there is a ton of stuff in there that isn't finished. It's like, hey, I think this is cool, but you know, sometimes it's like, okay, I just lose interest in this and I move on to another design, or I think, okay, no one's gonna want this part, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll scrap that, and maybe I'll circle back to it another time.
I see. I see. Yeah, I guess when everything's kind of in the digital space, yeah, you can just eternally store it versus just, "Ah, I gotta check it because it's just taking up space or something." Yeah, so I didn't think about that. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Um, okay, okay. Oh, have you encountered any challenges in your 3D printing journey? And if so, like, what were they?
Yes, I have encountered the challenges. Um, the biggest challenge that I encountered is maintaining my 3D printer. Um, my first 3D printer, it was a cheap one that I got. It was probably like 200 bucks on sale. And
Hmm.
I thought, okay, I got a 3D printer. I'm just gonna put this down on my desk and it's gonna materialize something I can see. It did not work that way. And for a while things are running smooth, but then eventually you hit the point where it's like, okay, this thing needs maintenance. So I need to, you know, tighten the belts on it. I need to replace the nozzle on it. I need to clear jams out of the tubing. I need to replace the thermistor on my 3D printer. And like at the time, at it's not like I can just take this to like Best Buy and then figure it out. You gotta like, watch YouTube videos and read forums
Hmm.
and like try to figure out, okay, what's the reason why my printer is broken? Because like when it's working great, it's amazing. But when it breaks and I want to print something, you have to stop your project and say, okay, I have to commit all my spare time into fixing the printer.
Hmm.
And the printer could be down for like 2 weeks while I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, wow.
And then like, yeah, once things get going again, it's cool. But there have been times where I'm like, okay, I really hate this thing because I can't figure it out.
Have things improved now? I mean, I know 3D printing isn't necessarily like ubiquitous, but I mean, still, there it's certainly more mainstream now than it was before. So would you say that there's a lot of solutions to some of these challenges that you encountered that they're readily available now?
Um, yeah, I would say like my latest. So I'm actually on my third 3D printer
Oh,
now.
wow.
Um, the first one I sold like, it got me through like that first 2 years, and then like, the next time I was like, okay, I need to buy one with, certain features like bed leveling and
Oh,
sensors,
hmm,
you know, filament runout sensor, you know, two Z-axis poles. So for greater stability, things like that. Um, I want to go with a printer that I think is, manufactured well so that I don't have to put in my own personal time correcting those, manufacturing flaws.
hmm, hmm.
But yeah, like the one I have now, I like the- it's probably only clogged on me once, and maybe I've had to like tighten the belts once, but other than that, it's been running pretty smoothly.
Okay, right on. Really quick, I was gonna say the hot sauce has definitely hit my stomach, and so I'm
Oof.
like on the verge of either yakking or having to run to the bathroom either way. So in the event I suddenly run out, that's what's happening. Okay. But this sucks. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Okay.
What's
I totally understand. I will absolutely understand.
uh, what are some of your favorite things that you've designed?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Favorite things that you've designed.
Favorite things I've designed. Okay. So one of my favorites is during Power of the Primes, I made like there was like Orthia, which was the female combiner team.
Oh, yes, yes, the Starscream remold, right?
Yeah. Um, and like I made this like replacement torso armor,
Hmm.
and like for that, like it just totally changed the look of that combiner to where it was it was definitely more feminine in
Hmm.
the way it was shaped. So like yeah, like it just completely changed the way that looked. And it wasn't like too like, outrageous or anything, but I just thought it was more true to like a fembot Autobot
Hmm.
than what they are had like with the Starscream mold. So
Ortheo
that was a
Ortheo
really
was
good one.
nice. Yeah.
Um, I think like the Legacy Menasor adapters, so we could use like Combiner
Hmm.
Wars arms. I really like that the way that one turned out. Um, like I think I was able to make it like as uh, blended into the existing design pretty well. It doesn't look like it stands out too badly with the figure.
Hey, Punch, my bad. Can you give me a second?
Yeah. Go ahead, go
Uh,
ahead.
I'm gonna have to handle something. I'm just gonna black out my camera for a
Yeah,
second
sure, sure.
and put it on mute. This is so unprofessional. Just give me like a few minutes. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, so sorry.
No worries, no worries.
A few moments later.
Okay. So
You made it.
I did. I'm barely hanging in there. I'm glad we didn't do this live so that I can edit that bit out. But uh so you're talking about Legacy Menasor and the ability to make it compatible with the Combiner Wars guys.
Maybe we should start this question over just so that you can edit it.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll
Um,
I'll, I'll edit it properly. It'll be all right. Yeah.
so I really like the Legacy Menasor adapters to use Combiner Wars arms. I thought that came out really well. Like I think that it really complemented the existing look of the figure without being like without sticking out too far.
Mm.
Um,
And thank you for sending me a set, by the way.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I figured that you would probably do something with it to, and you did like that one um the combine it was the combiner with like the teal and black
Right, right.
Jailbreakers.
You're right.
Yeah,
I
that was
customized a
cool.
couple of those. Thanks, thanks,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah. Oh, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm never gonna do that again. And plus, I'm on a quasi empty stomach right now. So this is a bad
Ooh.
idea. This is a bad
Yeah.
idea. I should have just kept it focused on your interview. Um, so do you have a future roadmap of things that you want to design or print?
For the future roadmap, I there's a lot of stuff. Like I have a to-do list
Hmm.
in my notes, and it's like, okay, I want to do weapons and parts for the Constructicons,
Hmm.
for Combiner Wars. Like I really want to do like a handgun for each of those guys.
Nice.
Um, I did work up some prototypes for like one of the feet so that like the bucket toe doesn't like slip out when
Hmm.
he's standing. Because
Right, right, right,
I always
right.
thought that was like a weak point in the figure.
Seriously, all that weight on such a small little stress joint,
Yeah,
That's
like
yeah,
if they had just added like an extra tab or some kind of locking mechanism
right.
beyond that, that would have made it better. Um, yeah, just kind of like keeping on with like making things that I think fill a gap.
Mm.
I know that like the new Devastator is on his way, but like I still want to try to fill out those holes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Um, in a super long term view, I this is gonna sound super crazy, but I want to do like a Helonus Maximus.
What
Uh,
is that?
so if you there was this one episode of Transformers where Hound projects a figure of a giant Autobot that scares Devastator, and then
I
uh,
remember that.
yeah, so that figure that they named him like Helonix Maximus.
Oh, oh,
Um, and so supposedly there's like this Transformer hero out there that never
wow.
really got any figure or playtime. Um,
Like a Diaclone figure, or just like in the lore?
in the lore, I
I see.
think in terms of production, I think they probably were planning on using a Diaclone figure for him,
Mm,
like maybe one of the Diaclone base robots to fill that niche.
I see.
But I don't think it ever made it to production.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Punch. I hate the fact that I'm in such a bad spot. I'm gonna just fast forward to the last question,
Okay. Okay.
which is like what does the crystal ball say about Punchy the Dog's future? Yeah.
Um, so I think I kind of just want to keep on doing like more of this stuff.
Mm,
Just keep on making more 3D designs. Um, I want to keep the shop running for as long as possible so that,
mm,
you know, maybe a couple of years from now, someone will say, "Oh, I like that design," and it's
mm,
still available.
mm.
Yeah.
Let's, would love
I
to see
might
you
branch
continue
out
in this
into like other
space.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Punch. I'm so sorry. Um, is there anything that you'd like to plug or final thoughts for all the viewers watching? Oh,
Okay. I'll keep it short. Just keep expanding your skills and
mm,
developing those things. Invest the time in yourself. Because like a couple of years ago, I would have never thought that I would be 3D printing and having an online storefront that. So just keep on investing time in yourself, and it's going to pay off slowly.
all right on. Well, thank you so much, Punch. I appreciate it, and I truly apologize for being so unprofessional in this particular matter. And let's talk again soon, my friend.
All right, man.
Yeah, so for me, for Punch, and to everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful day or night or whenever you watch this. Okay.
Take
Peace,
care.
everyone. Uh, okay, I'm stopping recording.